Hello everyone, Melanie here with CGL Recruiting, and today we're going to be covering the top job sites for nonprofit jobs. Now, this video should be helpful to a lot of you, and let me explain why. Now, normally nonprofits are going to post on one of these job posting sites as opposed to the majors. Now, if you're not familiar with the majors, go off and watch our video that goes through the major job posting sites. But the reason they do it on the sites that I'm going to show you today is a lot of times they are free for them, or at least at a much lower cost. So there may be a bunch of roles here that you're not even seeing if you're not going to some of these sites. The other thing that's very important about the things that we're going to be covering today on these job sites is if you are a newbie and just trying to get yourself into a career, a great way to start is by doing some volunteer work or internships with companies. And so in addition to the regular full-time paying jobs we're going to see on these sites, you're going to see a lot of opportunities for volunteer positions. And it is a great way to get some experience on your resume and on your LinkedIn profile so that you're more attractive to companies. And then the other thing that I'm going to say about what we're covering today is for those of you that are on the more senior level, I always get a lot of executives ask me questions about how do I get that first board position? Or how do I get that first CEO position? Well, for a lot of individuals, a great way to do that can be through a nonprofit. Once you have 1 or 2 board experiences on your background, you're looked more favorably for others. And also, you may have a role that is a manager or a director in a for-profit company that when you go to the nonprofit industry, or not really industry, but the nonprofit segment, you're going to see that these positions raise up a level. And so you may have been a director or VP at one company, and now you're going to see you're going to qualify in and get offers for C-suite levels in a nonprofit. Now, of course, that does depend on the size of the nonprofit. Some of them are very small and some of them are very big. So it will depend on the size of it. But this video should have definitely things in it for everyone. I hope you'll remember at this point, if you haven't already, to go out and subscribe to our channel. Please ring that bell for notifications and give me the thumbs up at the end if you do feel that this information is helpful to you. Now, before we go into the actual sites, I want to talk with you about what's called Charity Navigator. Just because a company is a nonprofit does not mean everything is above board. And you do need to be careful when you are looking at nonprofits. Well, the same way when you're looking at companies, you can go to Glassdoor. There is a great website called Charity Navigator, and I'm going to show it to you in just a minute. And what Charity Navigator does is they look at all of the different nonprofits, not-for-profits, and they do a ranking of them based on how transparent they are with their financials, about how much money they actually spend on the services that they're trying to provide, and how much they spend on internal things like overhead for salaries or dollars to do events to get more dollars in. If you've never been to it, it's a site that I always look at before I make any kind of donation. And for those of you that are looking at jobs in the nonprofit segment, I highly recommend you look up the companies that you're applying for on Charity Navigator. It'll give you a great look at all of the inner workings of the charities. Let's take a look at Charity Navigator right now. So from the Charity Navigator main website, you can go to the box next to Charity Search to enter in the charity's name, keywords, or even their EIN number if you do know it. If you don't have or can't find them in this informational box, you can also choose to look at their A to Z directory. Now, when you enter in a charity name, and in this case, the one that I entered in was the American Kidney Fund, it actually goes through and shows you their overall score and rating. And you can see that this organization is rated very, very high, getting a score of 90.31 and their top star level, which is 4 stars. From here, you can dig into all kinds of information about this charity, including their accountability and transparency. So some other information that you can see when you're out there on Charity Navigator is like their chairman of the board and usually some other key individuals. I really recommend you consider looking at this site before you pull up and apply to some of these others. Now, if you know of a better one besides Charity Navigator, let me know. Put it down in the comments below so other job seekers in this space will be able to utilize those sites as well. I will tell you, Charity Navigator is 100% free, which is also one of the reasons I like it for all of my job seekers. Let's move on to our first actual job site where you're going to find lots of great jobs for nonprofits, and that is idealist.org. So on the Idealist main webpage, you are going to see down towards the bottom where there's over 3,000 positions available, over 250 internships, and over 128,000 volunteer opportunities. Now, all you have to do to start looking at their jobs is click on that blue search button, and it's going to pull you into the different positions. Now, some of the positions that I looked at that were close to me included a mobilization manager, a global scholars program coordinator, as well as many, many others. Now, I did go down and also look at them by job function, looking specifically at program management to see what type of roles were available. The one I chose to click on was this one for a Vista Environmental Program Coordinator. Now, for this position, you will see that blue apply button right towards the top, but I also want to make sure you know that most of these roles have a way down at the bottom where you can send an actual email with your resume and cover letter direct. I also really like that they do give you a deadline on lots of these positions that you have until when the position is going to close. So it is a definite way to get that more personal touch than just going through the master applicant tracking system. Now, I do also want to show you that there are lots of other opportunities for volunteering. For those of you that are trying to get some experience on your resume, trying to stay busy as you're a job seeker, or looking to help out with the COVID-19 events that are going on across the world, you will see an amazing amount of positions available, including some smaller things like a web designer or other positions that are even more senior. Now, I did tell you earlier too that nonprofits usually have board positions available for those of you that are interested. Most times these board positions are going to be unpaid, but there are some that may have some kind of stipend depending on the requirements for that role. Now, for this board member search, you will find several that are there, and you can look at them based on locations that are close to you. Though a lot of time boards will let you do this in a more remote setting for the larger organizations. Now remember, I am not a fan, for any of you that have watched any of our other videos, of any website that asks you for money in order to see jobs. I don't think it's right to ask job seekers for anything just to see the jobs or to apply for a position. So all of the sites that we're looking at today are ones that we've tried our hardest to vet to make sure that there were no hidden costs or fees that they're going to try and connect you with. But if there is one that we've missed, please let me know in the comments down below so we can make sure everybody is very aware of that. Let's move on to our next website, the Chronicle of Philanthropy. Now on this website, there's definitely not as many jobs as the last one that we did look at, but there were some really good positions that I do think this is one you should keep on your radar. When you go into the main screen, just hit that green Find Jobs button to find all of the positions that are available. Now, I did look at ones that were close to where I was, and I found over 49 jobs. Now, for those of you that think all nonprofit jobs pay very, very low, you can see these two that came up actually had very high salaries attached with them. There was an executive director for the Lifelight Foundation where they have a salary range of $110,000 to $150,000. I actually went further into that one to look at it, and you can see the job description here. Now, again, this position I really like with the nonprofit websites. They tend to have an opening date and a closing date for the posting, and that helps you know that this position hasn't been sitting out here for 3 months. Now, once you get into the position and look at all of the information on this site, almost all of the jobs are going to have under the how to apply an email where you can send your resume and cover letter to. I love that they do that. You're getting a much more personal touch here than you are if you're going through just a huge applicant tracking system. So you can see those salaries are actually really competitive to the market. Now, I'm not going to tell you all the salaries in a nonprofit are going to be that way. It's really going to depend on the organization, how large it is, how big the scope is, and what kind of degree and education is really needed for that position. That's going to drive the salary one way or another. Let's continue down our list and look at the next one, which is PND. Now, PND is actually the Philanthropy News Digest, and they do have a career place where you can look at jobs that are posted. Now, to get to the jobs, all you have to do is click on the tab that says Jobs. Once you do that, you're going to start seeing a lot of the different positions that are available out there. Now, these again do give you a posting date, and most of them did look very fresh of the ones that I looked on. There was one that I clicked a little further on, which was for a legal administrative assistant position. Now, to apply for the roles, you are going to have to go all the way to the bottom of the job that's posted, and you're going to see a how to apply. On most of them, they have an application URL that you're going to have to then go through in order to apply for the job. Now, here's the good thing about that. I know it seems like it's a little bit more of an extra step, but because it is done this way, you won't have as many candidates most times. It takes away those easy clickers. So you're going to be a big fish in a much smaller pond. Now, I know several of the sites that I'm showing you today are definitely more US specific, though bear with me, there are some that are more international. Now, every country is going to have their own set of sites that are like this. So if you have one that you're aware of for your country that handles just positions in your country, or even actually if it is a global one, please go ahead and put it in the comments below. Let's try to help each other out as job seekers. The next one we're going to look at is the National Council of Nonprofits. For this website, you can always enter in a keyword or a job title to start, or you can view by categories and locations. Now, in this case, I actually chose to look up human resources jobs within the nonprofits, and there were some great options available, including even a chief people officer. Now, the position that I dug a little bit deeper into was this Director of Worldwide Learning and Professional Development. And you will see that again, there is that application deadline. There was also great information about the position and the company. And look, there it is once again, an actual email address of somebody that you can send your resume and application to. I'm telling you guys, as job seekers, when you can get this type of personal connection with who's hiring for the job, it is worth its weight in gold. The next site we're going to look at is actually the job posting signs for the Nonprofit Times. The Nonprofit Times is a business publication for those that are managing nonprofits. Now, if you go to their career center, there's lots of jobs that are available. There's about 135 at the point in time that I looked at this in June 2020, which in the middle of the economic downturn that we are in is actually a great number of positions available. Now, when you go into the positions further, the one that I pulled up was a marketing and communications manager. There's lots of information out here about the organization, what they're looking for. You can create job alerts, and I really like always when job search sites let you find who you are connected to through LinkedIn at this company or with this position. So for this particular position, if you want to apply, you're going to see that gold apply button up towards the top right. And when you do it, even if you click on that apply on employer site button, it is going to stop you and make you enter your first name, last name, and email in order to proceed. I know I'm moving quickly on this video, but I'm trying to be a good steward of your time as always. So I'm going to keep going fast, and if you need to rewind and write down a website or whatever else, please feel free to do so. Let's take a look at our next one. So the Bridgespan Group is an organization that helps consult to nonprofits, and they do have a nonprofit job board. Now, once you get into it, there's the same amount of filters that you can do to try and narrow down the positions. In this case, I looked again at positions that were human resources. I actually pulled up a chief people officer working for a Compass Working Capital. Now, when you look into the positions further, there's lots of information on the budget and things about the job and the company, which was really helpful. Now, for this site, you're going to actually see that instead of an apply button, they're going to list the website of the organization that's hiring for this position. So if you do want to apply, just click on that website, which will then take you through to the company site, and you can complete your application from there. The next site we're going to take a look at is Work for Good. On the Work for Good main website, again, you can go through the filters or just click on that orange search button and it's going to pull you up all the positions that they currently have available. There was lots of ones like program directors, digital production associates. The one that I choose to click on was actually an administrative assistant. Now for this position, they give you information like the salary range and information about the company. It also has information in here exactly how to apply, and at the bottom right, you will actually see the apply button where you can go in and submit your resume. Now, when you do click that apply button, it is going to take you to a screen asking you to either sign in or create an account. But again, at no point in time did we see any fees or anything associated with this, so you still should be good. Our next job site is focused more around technical jobs within the nonprofit industry. This is Enton. So on the nonprofit tech job board, you're going to see lots of different positions available. Now, even though they do tend to focus more technically, you're going to see things like a marketing and event coordinator or other positions that are not what you would normally consider a technology type of a role. So I do recommend you go out here and take a look. Something special about their website is you're going to see type, and it's either going to say job in light blue or gig in dark blue. Now the difference between those two is if we look at one that's a gig, like for example this one here for a technology assessment consultant, they're going to give you information about the company and what exactly they're looking for in that project. They are also going to tell you what they're willing to pay you for that project. And there's information as well about how long they expect that project to take. And look, there it is right down the bottom, exact contacts of how you can apply for this role. Now, when we went back and looked at more of a full-time role, in this case, it was an IT systems specialist working for Wikipedia. How cool is that? Again, there's lots of information out here about the position, the salary information, and there you're gonna see that link right at the bottom of how to apply. Okay, so how cool would it be to work for Wikipedia? That one was just very cool to me. Anyway, let's keep going and look at our next job site. So our next one is the foundationlist.org. Again, all you need to do is click in to see all the list of open positions, and there is a wide variety here as well. Now, when you go in, if you click on one of them, in this case, we chose a grant writer, they're going to give you information about the position and the company as always, and they're going to actually link you out to the organization's website in order to apply. Now, I told you a lot of these were very US focused, so let's switch gears a little bit and go towards one that's more focused in the UK. Now, Third Sector Jobs had a great number of positions available on their main job. If you look down on Browse by Function, you can see which ones were open for each segment. The one I chose to click on was training, of which there were 6 positions available. And the 6 were very varied. The one that I chose to click in a little bit more to was an e-learning content developer. It gave you great information about the salary that they're looking for the position, the closing date for this role, about the company, and at the bottom right, you're going to see a black apply button, which when you click that is going to link you further on to the company's web page. But before you do that, it is going to bring up a box asking you for your email address because they're trying to sign you up for job alerts. Now, if you don't want to do that, just click that no thanks and continue to apply in the bottom center, and that will take you directly to the job that you're looking to apply for. Now, I know some of you are very nervous about setting up these job alerts, but honestly, I really think they are a good idea for you if you really want to maximize your time as a job seeker. There are so many job sites out there available, and you need to be very structured about how you approach all of this. But one way to make sure that you're not having to go out to all these sites every single day is to set up job alerts. If you want to know my feelings further on job alerts, we do have a video that covers this and talks about why they can be so impactful to you as a job seeker. Let's go on looking at our next website, which actually is focused on nonprofit jobs in Australia. Now, the website is Pro Bono Australia, and I do want to caveat this by saying that in the US, when we think of pro bono, we think of volunteering for free. And I don't want to give everybody the impression that these positions are all for free. When you go out into this website and start looking at the jobs, you're going to see a wide variety. One of the ones that I chose to look a little bit deeper at was a bookkeeper. And this bookkeeper is actually a part-time role, and it does have a salary available for it. Now, again, I like that it has an application closing date, and if you choose to apply for this position by clicking that Apply Now button, it is going to take you right to a form to fill out with all of your information, and it will also give you a chance to upload your resume and cover letter. We're going to head back to the UK for this next site, which is Charity Digital Jobs. Now, from the main website, you're going to want to go up right to that Search Jobs. It's going to bring up a variety of the latest jobs they have available, and in this case, the one that I chose to look further at was a data manager. Now, for this data manager, it does tell me that they do consider this to be a permanent function available, and you'll also see that there is that orange Apply Now button in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, of course, you can always go directly to nonprofit websites in order to find positions that that particular nonprofit has available. I still recommend you go to Charity Navigator to check out the nonprofit in general, but you can absolutely do that direct method to find positions that are available. The sites that we just went through today, however, will definitely give you a leg up because a lot of these charities and ones that you may never have even heard of are going to post through these sites. I hope this information was helpful. If it was, please give me that thumbs up at the end. And I really hope you do subscribe so you can stick with me for our next set of videos. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.